Hey guys, we are going to go over the bench press setup in this video to help you maybe clear some things up, get you in the best position possible, and improve your bench press and stay injury free. So we're going to have Matt here walk through his setup. He's going to be laying down to start off. The first key point is we want to make sure your eyes are lined up underneath the barbell, and from that point your hips are slightly tilted back, so we're creating an arch in the back here where the low back is not touching the bench. As much as you feel comfortable with that, we're going to want to try to keep that arch. Feet stay flat on the floor all the time, no matter what. Your feet are your tree trunks in this process. Strong, strong base, you want to press them through the floor. So here, he's lining up fingers. Now first I'm going to have him move his hands all the way to the inside of the knurling so that we can show you the angle that you don't want to have with your elbows. Go ahead and unwrap, Matt. And go ahead and descend to the bottom. So in this position, we have a really poor angle with the elbow, which creates more of this type of closed angle. And when we actually come down for the bench press, we want to have more of a 90-degree here. So he's going to go up and rack it, and he's going to slide his hands out where they belong for his width and his position. So now he's going to unrack, he's going to descend, and as he comes to the bottom position here, this angle with his bicep and his forearm is now much better and more of that 90-degree position, which is what we want to achieve. So from here, go ahead and straight up, Matt. So from the top of our bench press, we want to keep that arch in our back, we want to keep our feet flat on the floor, and as we descend, you're almost going to think about bending the bar a little bit. So what that's going to do is it's going to help your elbows drive down in a tighter position as opposed to winging them out, which is going to be really stressful for the shoulders. So when we go ahead and start pulling the bar down and bending the bar, you can see they're tucked here a little bit more. Now it's not a tricep bench, it's not elbows tucked right into the body for a full press here. It's that 45-degree down and full extension. Go ahead and give us 2 or 3 reps, Matt. Good pull to the bottom, good bend, good drive back up. Awesome. Now, go ahead and rack it, Matt. So, from time to time, we want to reset. When you're doing your sets, you're going to finish your rep numbers, and we're going to want to get up, stand up, shake it out, and we're going to want to practice that setup so that we can keep it the same exact way every single time. So now Matt's going to come back, he finished this set, he's going to come back, he's going to sit on the bench the same way, get set up properly, and the same form concept is used with your bench press as it is with every other exercise you're going to run into. You want to do things exactly the same all the time and keep good mechanics and rhythm. So now he's got his hands set up, he's got, before he comes down, he's got his back arch set, his feet again are planted tight on the floor, and one other thing we didn't mention yet is his shoulder blades. His shoulder blades are actually contracted and pulled together tight on the bench, which is going to allow him to press through his chest as opposed to pressing with his shoulder and reaching. So we don't want to do that either. So when he comes down to the bench again, and we get set up for the next set, what he's going to be working on is lockout, pulling the bar down to the chest, and in that motion, it's going to look like a little bit of a curve. So if his bar is racked out here, as he pulls down, it's going to come down to the middle of the chest, and as he drives back, it's going to drive back towards his eyes. So we talk about bar down to chest, drive back to the eyes. And it's a little bit more exaggerated with lighter weight on the bar, but this is our what we call the power curve, and this is going to help generate a lot more strong pressing motions that are going to be way better for the whole process and the long-term strength growth. So you can see here, I'm just going to dismount this camera as he's moving so we can get a better view of his movement. So here you can see we're driving down to the chest and back to the eyes. So that's a really, really important part of the process, and that's our power curve. So we're going to want to try to keep that the entire time of our movement. So that gets our setup in place, our feet planted, our back arch is important. We are going to readjust that camera for a second. So back arch, shoulder blades tucked on the bench, full lockout, pull down to the chest, drive back to the eyes. That is going to conclude most of the key points that you're going to want to think about through your bench presses. And like I said, spend some time just going through the setup again and again and again and again, so that every time you're creating the same scenario in the same environment for your body to respond better to and create better pressing for you. So
you want to talk about the stacked wrist?
Yeah, for sure. Great point. So Maddie's just brought up here the wrist position, and something that we see a lot of, which we don't want to have happen as much, is we don't want to flex our wrist and bend back as far as we can. You can see that here, which is going to put a lot of pressure on his wrist, and now the bar is positioned more towards the calluses of his hands up there. So what we actually want to do perfectly like that is we want to rotate the bar up, and we want to position it more towards our thumb here, which is, we have a great grip. The bar is positioned evenly through the hand, which is going to stack the wrist through the elbow, which is really, really important. So now the wrist doesn't become a deterring factor in your bench press, and you're not getting up with hurt wrists, and it actually generates force sooner so that the wrist doesn't have to bend to absorb the force. So we want to pull down and drive up with that stacked wrist that he's mentioning here. Great job, Andy. Fantastic. Thanks for viewing. I hope this helped everybody. Let us know what you think. If you want more information, if you want more help, comment, message us, email us. We're always around. Thanks for listening, guys.